Live.
We're
Let's
running.
go.
Let's go, dude.
Love
This is the pod. First, what's the first thing on the list? Topical events. Oh, dude. Apple Vision predictions.
it. Yes.
Yes. You were telling me about this the other day, actually. You're saying you've fucked around with these or what?
Not the Apple Vision Pro, but I've had the MetaQuest.
Okay.
My buddy peer pressured me into getting them. He got them for his kids. He's like, dude, we could play ping pong together.
Sick.
And it feels like the real thing. And, so I went and bought it just for ping pong. And I said, okay, a ping pong table costs $700. These cost like $400. So,
I like the justification, dude.
Exactly. Because I'm like, how often am I going to use this? And I checked it out, dude, and it's trippy. Like, you get immersed in these things and you're somewhere else. It's so freaking cool. And like the customizations and stuff, like you have your own little like Zen spot when you launch in. So the MetaQuest, it was pretty fun. But I just noticed I didn't really use it as much as I wanted to. And some of the games you play on it, like motion sickness is a real freaking thing. And so
really,
yeah, dude, like you got to get used to it. And so like the first time you play a couple games, you're always just like a little, like I get motion sickness pretty easy. And so I just found myself, I had to build a tolerance with it. So that was like my experience with that. I kind of stopped using it. Like Beat Saber was pretty fun. But now thinking about the Apple Vision Pro, I love the fact that the cameras on the outside are like really nice quality so that you can see what's around you. And essentially it looks like you're wearing a pair of like ski goggles.
It does. Yeah.
Just some heavy ski goggles.
Well, compared to the last VR set I used, I think it was the Quest, we had to put up poles surrounding us in the room and map out a whole square. They don't have any of that.
No, they don't. Okay. So I think because you probably can see what's around you, I think the transparency mode of it is just so good that you should like,
it doesn't
you should
matter.
know where everything's at, right?
Well, we were talking about, I think it's important to realize this is iteration number 1. And this is the first time Apple has released anything new they came out with the AirPods. So I guess that's probably the last new thing they did. Probably, what was that, 7-8 years ago? And we were talking about how it's like, if this is evolution 1, imagine what evolution 1 of the iPhone looked like compared to what evolution 20. The iPhone came out in 2007 and had no app store. Very few apps. You could call, text, and it was a touch screen. And that was revolutionary. And so if Apple can figure out a way to get similar or decent consumer interest and use over the next 20 years, I could see this becoming a huge thing. But here's the catch. It's got to be more convenient because I don't want to wear ski goggles all day.
It's very true. Think about battery life too. Have you looked that up yet?
No. What is it?
It's about 2 hours.
That's not good. No. That's not good at all.
No, you got to carry around an external battery pack if you want to extend that life of it.
Yeah. But I feel like the real benefit is implementing it into everyday use rather than an extra layer or an extra thing. Because if this was just as normal as glasses, reading glasses, even if they were a little bit bulkier, and if it could augment the way that I live, for example, if I walk into a room and it tells me the names of all the people I've met, or if somebody tells me a date, it remembers it for me. Or, dude, if I'm walking down the sidewalk and it's got cameras front and back and it senses a vehicle from my 3 o'clock just coming at me and it's like, danger, move, dude. All that takes is one time for me to be like, holy shit, I need to wear these every single day of my life as long as they're comfortable. And that's the kicker.
Yeah. They got to be comfortable. I mean,
they got to be comfortable.
When you wear something like that, like if you've ever wore like a football helmet or something that's like just really tight and uncomfortable, it takes a long time to get used to it.
Yeah.
And like with these just weighing on your face, I mean, your cheekbones, your nose bridge, and everything is probably not the best support system for that. And then they have a strap that goes over the top of your head, so that restricts what you can wear. You know, maybe for like anybody with long hair that could get in the way and whatnot. I just think that anything that's a wearable of that size, it gets in the way. Because I think about, you know, I wear my Apple Watch all the time, and I forget it's there. Like I'm going on a walk and then I get a couple of vibrates on the watch and it says, are you walking right now? And it wants to record a
That's cool.
workout. That's fantastic. Like
That's
I
awesome.
don't have to think about it. It's just,
Right.
it's there and it's an aid. But something like this, throwing it on is like, you have to kind of plan your day around it, I feel like.
Right.
And I think it's a bottleneck.
I like that. Like you don't even think about it. It's just, if you can get to that level, dude, I would rock this thing all the time.
Right. And so then it's like, you know, think about you're in a house or in a room and everybody's wearing it. Like, how do you even know what anybody really looks like? So I think that part of like the human connection of like, you know, looking someone in the eyes, like seeing their smile, all of those things that like give you a sense of who you're talking with and like a sense of connection, all those go out the window. And now I like they do have like, you know, almost an avatar it creates. So that's kind of cool too. But you know it's not, you know it's fake. Like, you know it's not real.
Yeah. It's a start. It's for evolution 1, not bad. Not bad, Apple.
Not bad. You know what I could do? It's like I use my laptop all the time and my computer.
Yeah.
But I don't carry it around with me everywhere. And so I think if it's a situational use case, such as like you show up to work, you have your Apple Vision Pros right there, throw them on, knock out some tasks. And then just put them down, let them charge, and just go throughout your day. I could totally see that. Like I'm literally thinking about how could I implement this in my workday.
I could see that. Well, I guess the question is, did Apple think, because how much money do you think they spent developing this project? I would guess, it's just a guess, over 50 million, over $100 million to launch this thing. Apple doesn't expect to sell what $3,000?
I think like 3,500 is what I saw.
3,500. Yeah. So if they're going to have to sell $100 million worth of, like, oh dude, this isn't even like taking into account like revenue and all that shit, but like, do they really think they're going to sell? Let's see here. What's that? So they'd have to sell 30,000 units. If they spent 100 million, they'd have to sell 30,000 units, which actually doesn't seem too bad. They probably spent more than that, though. I just don't know the cost to produce these types of things. But I don't think they expect to make money on this first round. Do you? Or like, I don't know.
I mean, they have so much cash they're sitting on. So they could pretty much try to take up market share in any area they wish.
Yeah.
So you just think about that, because I mean, they have the most, what is it? The highest revenue for a wearable as a watch, right? They're the leading watch, you know, sales, whatever category that is. Like everything that they produce, they're always number one in that industry. So I think this is just kind of putting their flag on this hill and saying, we're here.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't care, you know, if it does break even. I'm sure they're just doing it to just impose their will into this sector,
throw their weight around,
start yeah, you know, and then just really just start the research and development aspect of this, because they're like, when you're in this type of like device, dude, it's unlike anything else. And so, you know, there's definitely a place for it in the future. So that's where we were kind of chatting about this, of like, what is it going to look like in 17 years from now? Because the iPhone, you know, 1 came out 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Where is this going to be at 17 years? Are they going to scratch it? I don't think so. I
hope
think
not.
that there is, I think that there's a vision for this in the future, but what would it be? And like, what kind of wearable would it be? I mean, glasses seem the easiest. But I don't know.
It's like, a good question.
What do you predict?
Well, I mean, it also reminds me a little bit, we talked about this, which is Neuralink. And Neuralink started in, so they started in 2016. Musk gave them $100 million, and there were 7 scientists that got together to start this. the primary focus. Do you know what the primary focus of Neuralink was?
Probably for like anybody who has any type of disease or something that
Exactly.
they
Yeah, it
can.
was
Yeah.
for people that had diseases, paralysis, and what they wanted to do was put an implant in the brain that allowed them to control some type of external device, a computer or a phone, something like that. And this company started 8 years ago, dude, and they got the best people in the world, and now they just started hitting strides. And it took
Mhm.
them 8 years to get there. But what a lot of people forget about is that iteration process of a company. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. What'd you say the other day? Something about thumbs?
Yeah, so I saw on a podcast clip Elon Musk was talking about like input to output ratio, like how it's changed over the years. Because when it was just a keyboard, you had 10 fingers, right? That was your
Mm-hmm.
input. And now we switched to more of a mobile phone device where it's just your two thumbs. So it's like, Elon and his slow thumbs is what I was
Ah,
referencing.
you're limited by your
It's
thumbs. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like images and being able to interpret information at glance is way faster and talking way faster than inputting it with your thumbs. And so that's a little bit of a bottleneck too with communication. And so
Mm-hmm.
the cool thing about these Vision Pros is like you use your hand and your eye motion. So it's not like fine motor movements. It's more of gross motor movements to achieve what you want. So if you want to swipe, you can just move your hand, or you could just use your eyes. And I could see this being a use case for anybody who is disabled.
Mm-hmm.
If they have limited functions of their hands and fingers and whatnot. I would be wearing this all the time if
Yeah.
I was in that position. Because then you can function just like everybody else essentially, as long as you got your eye movement, and you can move your hands around. You're pretty much on a level playing field with everybody else when it comes to the meta world.
Yeah.
And I think that's super interesting. And you don't have to go into surgery. Like, I think the Neuralink thing is just such a
It's true.
bold step, dude. Like, do you want to go under anesthesia to have this implanted? And
Yes. But most don't.
version one, you said yes.
Yes. I'm so in, dude. I'm so in.
Yeah, it like put it in me. But like think about version 1 of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh yeah, I don't
how
want
difficult
V1,
would
dude.
it be to Yeah, like when do you opt in? V2, V3, they're
Mm-hmm.
always upgrading and innovating different ways to do this stuff. So I think it's just kind of like when you're putting your body at risk with these things, you got to make sure that it's going to do what you want it to do and it's not going to short circuit,
Mm-hmm.
because that could be pretty bad. I could see
I'm
that.
sure, dude. I'm sure, dude. All right.
And so,
I've got a. Go ahead.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like the other benefit of these, Apple Vision Pros, just having multiple apps open at any given time too. I think that's
Yeah.
really neat.
Yeah.
Having like a YouTube channel up above your oven and your stovetop when you're cooking
Mm-hmm.
food, so you can watch a how-to on it. You got a running to-do list running in your notes when you're out and about. It's funny, I've been seeing some clips of guys wearing this going to like the coffee shop or wherever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so jarring to everybody around them. Like nobody knows how to act. They're like, "Can he see me? Is it like what is he doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's just pretty neat. I did notice a guy was eating a sandwich, and he noticed he had like grease all over his fingers, and he was in
Mm-hmm.
the MetaQuest, or not MetaQuest, Apple Vision Pro.
Sure.
And he looks at it, and usually when you touch your phone, you got to wipe your hands off.
Yeah.
But with this, you don't, dude. You can have messy hands, and you can
Bro,
still use everything.
Cheeto keyboards are now gone, dude. Yeah.
Out of here.
Gamers
So,
are relishing in this moment, dude. Today's their time, bro.
that's right. No more greasy screens and dirty,
Dude.
dirty devices.
Dude, that's a
So
win.
I
That's
think
a
some
win.
of those things are, that's definitely a pro. That's a
Yep.
pro. So
Here's one thing I do wish Apple did. They started with Siri, 10, 12 years ago, and they really started to build this thing up. And for the longest time, I have wanted a real AI assistant. Not Siri, not ChatGPT. I want my phone to always be listening and recording. I want to have like a little AirPod in my ear. And anytime I say anything at all, let's say I get off the phone with a doctor and they're like, okay, you're scheduled for Saturday, February 10th. I want them to just put that shit in my calendar. I don't even want to tell them to do it, because when I'm around my assistant, she just grabs stuff and says, Devin, I've got this. It's in your calendar. It's done. Or if I get a text from like a friend and he's like, hey, don't forget to bring XYZ, I want this AI assistant to call Safeway Grocer to order ahead of time, to tell them to meet me out front with my groceries ready, with the best fruits I can bring for this platter to this party. Here's the thing. I don't want to have to tell it to do it. I just want it to say, here's what I'm going to do, and it's done. So I know. And so a real AI assistant that can just get shit done without even having to ask, that's what I would have loved to see from Siri. And we might get there with, you see Tesla's new robot?
No, I haven't.
Dude, there's a bunch of this shit. So Tesla just launched a new robot. We'll pop it in the screen. There's this little thing where you wear it on your chest, and it's always listening and recording. I'll send you a link to it. It looks pretty insane. It's supposedly like this, but I just don't think it's there yet, or I don't think anybody's developed that, put in the time to create it.
Yeah, dude, that would be awesome. So it kind of achieves what you're wanting it to do, dude. Yeah, that would be amazing. And okay, so active listening, you'd want active and passive listening on your device. I mean, when you send a text message, if I say, Wednesday at 3 p.m., I'll meet you there, I do get a prompt on my text message to add it to my calendar.
That's right? A start.
So there's a piece of that already integrated into iOS. And so why wouldn't they be able to just roll that out with a software update into these, Vision Pros? That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I imagine it's a little challenging considering how many variables there are, but it's awesome. All right, dude, we beat this horse to death. I want to hit you with a business idea I've been thinking about for a while.
Let's hear it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You got Valentine's Day, February 14th. Everybody knows it. It's for your lover. You got Mother's Day. You got Father's Day. I think there's even a Grandparents' Day. There's National Cookie Day. Is all this right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I would love to see Hallmark cards and TV shows do? I think we need a new holiday for not the lovers, but for friends. Ooh. Okay, are you with me? And here's what I want it to be. Valentine's is centered around romanticism and gifts. Thanksgiving is centered around food, but I want something that's centered around maybe gratitude or appreciation or something cool you can do for your friends. I would love to see a holiday dedicated to, we show appreciation to our friends for the things that they've done in the past. So every holiday, you text your top 10 people and you say one thing that they did for you that you appreciate. It could be anything, dude. And you know what I want to name this thing?
Let's hear it.
I want to name it Palentine's Day.
Ooh, okay.
Like your Palentine's. Now it's a little close to Palestine, so there are some caveats there. But if I've got no dog in the fight, I've got no reason to start a whole holiday. I would imagine it's a decent marketing campaign to start a holiday. But Hallmark cards, on the other hand, could roll this out, dude, and they could build a whole thing about, if you don't show appreciation to your friends, they're not really friends.
Ooh.
What do we think about this?
Well, immediately I think about your top 10s friend list on MySpace.
Yes.
Remember that? Dude, jockeying for position. Like, dude. Whenever I just had weights with a buddy, or I think I was in like 7th, 8th grade whenever MySpace was really popping off, right around there. And whenever I got into sports, it's like, oh, I just met this dude for one day. And now all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know if he likes me, like whatever. Are we friends? And you go on their MySpace and there you are, dude. You're number 8.
Oh,
I'm
dude.
like, oh shit, I guess approval. We are friends.
It's approval. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that was a real thing.
I'd like to see a holiday dedicated to friendship.
Yeah, I like
It
that
wouldn't
idea.
hurt. It wouldn't hurt anything.
There is kind of like an informal Valentine's for friends, and it's called Galentine's. I think it's like for the girls,
Bro,
but
we're
it's for the
left
girls.
out.
Like,
We're fucking out, dude.
I mean, it looks like so much fun. Like, think about it. Everybody dresses up in like PJs. You know, they have balloons and then they also have like, you know, brownies and cakes and drinks, and like they're all just hanging out, just enjoying each other. And it's usually for like the single friends, right? If
Yeah.
you have a significant other,
Right.
you're usually not included. So it's for all. It's like a single friends holiday, but it's usually just for the girls, for the
I'm
gals.
laughing because all those things you just said, I feel like I don't associate any of them, like cake and brownies and shit. I don't associate any of that to you at all.
No, not at all.
You're like, it sounds great. I don't want any of it, but it sounds great.
Dude, I'll do some damage with some brownies. I'll tell you what. You know, but like, you know, it's right in line with that. So,
Yeah.
you know, for the friends, what date would range would this fall in?
Well, here's what I was thinking, dude. Good question. I think it needs to happen right before Valentine's Day. Here's why. Valentine's Day, a lot of people are going to be spending money, especially the second week of February. They're going to be going out to dinners and buying gifts, so they're going to be a little cash poor. So we need to hit them before that happens. But everybody, it's starting mid-January, I mentally was preparing for February 14th. I was like, all right, don't fuck this up. I need a gift. I need to make reservations. Like, it's a whole thing in my head. So I was thinking like the first day of February 1, because it kicks off a new month. You got out of the January, which is like there's a whole lot of shit going on. But it's 2 weeks beforehand.
Okay. So like a little warm up to it. And so
It's a warm up,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then so like what do you think you do? Do you go out to dinner? Or do you just meet up at your buddy's house? Like what's kind of the like what's
I think it's got to be low commitment. Because Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving are all about food, and it's all centered around food. And Christmas is centered around gifts. Valentine's is centered around romanticism. St. Patrick's Day is around drinking. Each one of these is kind of around its own thing. This, I'd love to see it to be centered around gratitude. Just notes and cards for your friends. You send them one paragraph to 10 people. You spend 10 minutes on it. And dude, I would love to do this every year for my bros. And I'd love to get that in return. I think that's just a nice, wholesome way to kick off the month of February. Palentines.
Show the homies some love.
Dude, it's for your pals. Yeah. Like I got some piece of shit friends that I love, dude. And I want to tell them that. Like, you are the best piece of shit I've ever met. Yeah.
Yeah. And it comes from the heart, you know?
It comes from the heart, yeah.
I think it's good to have that. I think, you know, an intentional day for that is definitely good. I'll be on board with that. Maybe we start a little tradition, you know?
Maybe we could. Maybe, dude, if I
year.
if I ever own Hallmark or a card writing shop, I might get there. I might start it. New holiday. All right.
Sure. I'm pretty sure Hallmark headquarters is like 20 minutes from me.
Is it really? Dude, boycott or not boycott, propose, pitch it. Dude, we need a pitch deck.
I got to get in there. I need the boardroom ASAP.
I demand it. All right, dude, shit that works. This is our new bit of things that we are realizing in the market, in the world, in business. Just shit that works. All right, dude. Tell me about tell me about it.
Yeah, so one thing that I'm noticing, like as I'm scrolling through Instagram or on Facebook or even TikTok, I'm really not there for entertaining myself. I'm kind of just studying what's working, what are people doing, because I come from a business mind. And you know, you see these accounts growing at ridiculous rates. And a trend that's going around are these like viral hacking challenges, meaning there's this one chess account that just opened up, and it said whatever comment gets the most likes for the next chess move, because they alternate. One day it's white moves, one day it's black moves, and so they get the group consensus of what the next move should be. Whoever has the most likes they on a virtual chessboard, they move that pawn or they move the knight or whatever they do. And so it's like a collaborative game of chess. I don't know how long it's going to go on for, but this account went from 900 followers and they're already at 50,000 followers. It's probably changed by now. In a matter of like a week.
Wow.
In a week, dude. So like if you think about if you want to hack that for yourself, if you're just trying to grow a massive audience of people who are just like love seeing challenges or being a part of it, you could easily implement something like this, stay consistent with it. And then what's stopping you from shifting the message to something else where you can possibly monetize it or share your secrets on how you did it? I saw some stuff like that going down. What are your thoughts on these viral type Instagram accounts?
Dude, I need to show you. We'll put this recording up on screen. Have I shown you the conga line yet?
Ooh, you've mentioned it. You've mentioned
Bro,
I haven't seen it yet though.
Dude, it's on Instagram. Project Conga Line. They have 11 posts. Oh, my boy is slacking. 11 posts, 1.6 million followers. Their last reel got 5 million views, and they're averaging, their highest view video is 25 million, but every one of their videos, over 5 million views. And here's what they do. He says, I'm going to put my followers in a line around this virtual earth. And so he has a little tiny animated person and he puts it on top of earth. And he goes, this person is 1 meter wide. If I get 25 million of you, we will circle the earth. And however many followers that day he has, he animates this whole scene with a real size earth, and then he puts each one individually. And so you watch this 30-second video and he's like, I just hit 1.5 million followers. We now stretch from China to Europe. And it's like, it's kind of cool. And all the comments are like, I'm the one in the middle of the water drowning, haha. And dude, as soon as I saw the post, I followed. I was like, oh, dude, I want to be in this. Get me in the line, bro. 11 posts.
Isn't that fun to be a part of that?
Dude, 11 posts. That's crazy. I've probably posted 600 times and I'm at like 25, 30K or something like that. Like 11 posts. But it's creative. And I think that the niche creativity, that's what people want to see. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it hits on that weird part of like grabbing your attention that people don't really pay attention to. It's like you like watching stuff unfold. You kind of know how it's going to play out, but you want to see it visually. So they're kind of hacking in on that. You know, it's like I used to love watching the show Cops growing up. Because it was always chaotic. You never knew what was going to happen, dude. Chaos. Like they're on a police chase, they're on a foot pursuit. They break into it, like all this stuff, dude. It's just chaos, and you kind of know what's happening, but it's just leaving you in suspense. And I think these are kind of doing that on a small level. It's fun to watch this stuff unfold. And
wait,
I've seen a
Cops real? I've never seen Cops. Is that fake or real?
Oh, it's real.
It's real.
No, it's real. Yeah, bro, it's legit,
dude. How did anybody ever agree? What a brilliant marketing campaign! Hey, or like TV show idea. Imagine if you're the producer and you come up to me and I'm a sheriff. I'm like, hey, I got an idea, dude. We're going to follow you around with video cameras of untrained individuals, and we're just going to record all the shit that goes down. And I'm just like, hell yeah, dude, let's go. I feel like Cops is only filmed in Texas, no?
No, dude, they actually do it in Kansas City quite a bit.
Really, dude?
It's they spot like different towns. So then it's like when it's your town, dude, you're like, oh, I got to see what's happening. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or I might go try to cause some mischief, see if I get on TV.
Bro,
you know? Who knows?
Dude, that's ridiculous. That's crazy.
You know, me and my buddy Ryan, we opened up our first real estate office across from the sheriff's office in town, and then the Independence police station's right down the road from there, like literally a couple blocks. And they had cops going on one of the months we were there. And we're like, dude, let's like do a fake robbery. Like, I'll call the cops on you and you just act crazy. And just to see if they show up with a camera crew. I don't know. It's always funny to think about that stuff. But dude, that's like it's some fun TV. So then, you think about those kind of things. there's this guy. So, back to like shit that works. I'm noticing, people like to see other people being very consistent with stuff and doing hard things. There's this guy, he was doing an ice bath challenge. Every 1,000 followers he would add like time to his ice bath when he'd sit in there. And then he did another one where he did push-ups for his followers. And he kind of put it all in this one account. So that was his theme. So you're following it, watching it. He hit his goal. I think he got like 1 million followers from this. And then now he's pivoting. And he's doing more coaching and consulting around how to like hack these types of accounts and grow your following. And so now his new goal is, I want to earn $100,000 a month. I'm going to document it. Right.
Okay.
So he's taking a different angle. And so now he's trying to cash in. And I thought about this too, with like, if I would have documented the come up in real estate from door knocking 10,000 homes in a summer, locking down some deals, or even,
I want to see it. I want to
all
watch
these little things. But it's difficult to do two things at once, like master a skill, be uncomfortable and learn something and fail. And then also have, enough bandwidth to record it and edit it and make it where it's actually something people want to watch. Like those are two different skills. So it takes a little planning, but I think if you can execute on that efficiently, you're going to be set up for success.
Yeah. Had we known, do you think we could have successfully done it though? Knowing how much work it took to become real estate agents, could we have done both at the same time? I don't know if I could have.
I don't think I could have either.
Yeah. It was already hard, dude.
Exactly. And then, it's just like there's no blueprint for these kind of things either. So you just got to kind of wing it. And it's like, so you're winging two things at once. I mean, it causes a lot of a resistance to like just doing activities, those kind of things. So if you're smart about it, you would outsource it. You'd get you a camera person and say, just show up, follow me. You know? And then put that task on them. That's the way I would go about it now. If I was to go that route.
Yeah. Hiring out for it. You said something interesting though, which was he now helps people find these ways to hack his way to success. And that's something that I've always realized was leaning on experts or standing on the shoulders of giants will allow you to go further. But I want to share a story of my race car driving escapades 8 months ago. I told you a little bit about this, but I don't think I've ever told you the full story, right?
No.
Okay. I got hot into F1 racing. I was like, bro, I am a Red Bull Max Verstappen fan to the core. I love Red Bull. And I got it in my head one day that I want to race F1 cars for Red Bull. Dude, I was just fascinated between the engineering of the vehicles and the skill of the driving. I thought I could go professional. And who knows, maybe had I not given up, I could have. So what I did was I purchased a VR simulation, a sim racing kit. I sold my couch in my living room. I bought a sim racing rig. So it's the seat, the steering wheel, the whole thing. And then I bought a whole monitor. I literally bought a computer for it. I spent $5,000. And in the middle of my living room is a device that is good for one thing and one thing only. And it's literally a cockpit of a race car. And I get in, I had a helmet, I had a sleeve, the whole thing. I had gloves, and I would just fucking sit there and just play my little racing game for 6 hours a day. But in my head, I was training because one day, Kristen, my girlfriend, was like, "Oh, are you going to play your game today?" And I was like, "Game? No, babe. I'm training." And dude, I was putting in 6 to 7 hour days. And I want to tell you that the steering wheel of this thing, when I bought it, the guy had told me, never put your thumbs through the steering wheel. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, why wouldn't you grab it like this? And he's like, because if you crash, it's basically a real car. The steering wheel might like do some crazy moves and it'll break your thumbs off. I was like, oh, Also, this is true. When you're driving, I don't know if that's the only reason, but you don't put your thumbs through the wheel when you're racing a car. I was like, dude, you only had to tell me that one time. I did this for 6 months. I went to a local track with my Tesla and started doing laps and the whole thing. I flew to Austin, Texas to meet a friend of a friend who trains race car drivers. I spent 4 days, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the blistering sun of the Texas heat in a Mazda Miata learning racing. Dude, I'm serious. I got good fast. I put in a 50-hour work week in 4 days. This guy, Ian, taught me everything. It was amazing. But here's one thing I realized, because first, when I got in the car, he drove and I was sitting passenger. And this is the first time I had ever been in, one, a race car, but two, this is the first time I've ever been in the car with somebody that was a professional driver. And he said, I want to show you how I'm going to expect you to drive, so just watch and learn. Fucking sick way to start, by the way. Puts me in this Miata, not crazy horsepower. And people like to race Mazda Miatas because they're called finesse cars. They don't have a lot of horsepower like a Porsche. So you can't just like drive like shit and make it up with horsepower. You have to be good in order to carry your momentum, because the car isn't fast enough to just make up for all of your mistakes. He puts me in this car, dude. We're going around corners that I did not think was possible. We're going around corners at 60, 70 miles an hour sometimes. And I'm just like, dude, I thought for a fact we were going to roll this son of a bitch. I'm like glued to the wall of the door because we're just the G's. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, what'd you think? And I was smiling, dude. I was so happy. And then basically what we would do is we do 2-hour sessions. I would drive. He would sit next to me. And every single time I was making a mistake, which was about every second, he's course correcting me. So we take a turn. He'd be like, too fast, too slow, turn tighter, turn less. Like, dude, turn more here, more gas, more brake. Like, bro, more clutch. For 4 hours straight, this guy is in my ear. We had walkie-talkies, even though we're side by side because it's loud. And for 4 days straight, for 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, he's just turn left, turn right, do more. And there's something I realized, because after those 4 days, we did a time test of my first lap. And it was probably like, let's call it a minute 30, minute 45, something like. It was very, very slow. And by the end of those 4 days, I think my lap got down to about 53 seconds. His best lap was about 52 seconds, which in the racing world is still that 1 second is a massive difference. But he told me that he's like, dude, I cannot believe how fast you picked this up. And what I realized, though, was having him just course correct me through every single little mistake I made, I just got good, and I got good fast. And so when you say, like, this guy's teaching other guys how to do it, he's done it, dude. He's put in his hours. And people undervalue how important it can be to have somebody in your corner who's giving you feedback every single day. What do you think about that?
Dude, no, that's crazy. I want to ask you first, how much different of it was from sitting in your living room to actually being on the track? Did any of it translate? Like, were you like, oh, I figured this out? It did?
There were elements that did. So what did not translate is the fear. Because when you're taking a corner at 65, 70 miles an hour, like, you don't realize, like, that's fast, dude. And when you're going 90 down, 95, 100 down a straightaway, and you have to brake and make a hairpin turn and carry speed at 45 miles an hour, and then you have other cars on the track, you've got this guy next to you, there's only so many feet of barriers before it's a concrete wall. And the very first time, the only time I spun out, it was my second day. It was cool because I took this corner and dude, it blew my mind. As we're going around this corner, we're mid-turn, right? Steering wheel is shifted. I let off the gas. And dude, you don't let off the gas when you're going around the corners. You don't accelerate, but you have to maintain momentum because there's weight mechanics of a vehicle. And as soon as you let off the gas, the car starts to carry its momentum forward, and there's more traction on the front wheels, and obviously the back wheels have no, and so we just spun out. And dude, it scared the shit out of me. I've never fucking like spun out going 75 miles an hour before. It's terrifying. But the first thing he did was he said, "Good job. Get back on the track immediately." And that's the rule. Anytime you have an accident or spin out or a moment, you have to get back on the track as soon as you possibly can. Otherwise, the nerves kick in.
Yeah. Dude,
so
that's
some
the thing.
translated, but not a lot.
Well, okay. So like your guidance from this experienced driver, I mean, normally a person would say, I'm going to go in, I'm going to park the car, go get some food, have a drink, like kind of like de-stress a little bit. Cause I'm sure you were just fucking wigging out.
Dude, I was, yeah.
You know, just to have that, like, let's hit it again. Run it back.
Run it back, dude. Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Get back on that bull, you know? See, that's the difference of having someone like you mentioned, like somebody that's done it before, that knows the ropes. And if this is something you're really wanting to excel in, I mean, dude, getting within 1 second of a guy who literally works at the track.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like that's his playground.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. But still 1 second may as well be a mile.
Yeah. Basically.
It's dude down to those things.
Well, you put in 6 months in 1 week worth of
pretty much,
work into it?
Yeah.
Not bad. So what's happened? Like, what's the conclusion? Are we still in it? Like, what's?
No. All right, good question. Came home, still continued doing it. Learned a couple things. Number one, if I wanted to become a pro driver, I'd have to move to the mainland. So I can't live in Hawaii. We don't have a real racetrack. We have a fucking parking lot. No, literally, they put up cones in a parking lot and then you race around it. It's not real.
Nice.
So one, I'd have to go to the mainland. I'd have to do that. I'd have to spend probably about $500,000, between 200 to $500,000 for a season. And even if here's what was really the saddest moment. Even if I was the best, one of the best in the world, which like I'm not going to be unless I have a ton of training and money. Even if I don't get a spot on the team, on the F1 car team, because a lot of those are basically pay to play. Like the number 2 seat, Sergio Gonzalez for Red Bull, I believe his name is, he's sponsored. Like his sponsor pays for him to be there. Only the top 10 are people who place actually get paid good money to be there. And that was the most discouraging because it's not like basketball where if you're the best on the court, dude, everybody wants you no matter what. It doesn't matter. But F1 racing is so expensive that even if I was one of the best, the odds of getting a seat are still pretty slim. I thought I could go in and learn my way and become really skilled. I learned otherwise. And so I decided that if I was going to spend the next 10 years of my life trying to master this skill, I don't want to be able to lose out on it because I don't have the millions of dollars to pay for it or the hundreds of millions. So, I decided to make it a hobby.
You'll just dominate little kids at Dave & Buster's at those racing games. That's about where you're going to peak.
That's my peak, dude. That's my peak, bro. It's okay. It's okay. It's a hobby. I decided when I'm older, I want to have like my own little track, a little go-kart track, and me and all my bros can fuck around on it, and I'll dominate there.
Dude, we dress up as Super Mario Brothers or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Mario Kart.
Or N64. Yeah, Mario Kart or whatever. Dude, that would be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
You know, but it's something to be said about like doing something that really ignites that competitive edge in you. Because
Mhm.
we have a little F1 like go-kart track that opened up here in Kansas City, dude, and we did one of our events there. And
That's fun.
I will do whatever it takes to get the fastest lap. Like by
That's
any
cool.
means, I'll put you in the wall, I'll spin you out. Like
Yeah.
I will not let you get ahead of me. And like it's kind of hard because they stagger everybody and like they want safety first. So you
Mhm.
got to drive smart. So you're not really going to win the race. Like winning the race is usually like were you the first one out there or whatever. But you can jockey for fastest lap. And
Yeah.
dude, I don't know, man. Like something comes over me when I'm doing that stuff, and I'm just like, I'll fucking die here. You know, like it's like I'll kill us both. Like, I don't care.
Dude,
I
little
don't know
Timmy,
why, man.
12-year-old's birthday party, and dude, you're just
Uh-huh.
coming in fucking mustache. Just
Yep. Serious, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
just here
eyeing
to
him
have a good
down like,
time.
and it's kind of like, I don't know why. It's just something in me whenever I'm in competition like that. Cause when I wrestled in high school, when I was in the military, like doing these different things, I don't
Yeah.
know, man, just something inside of me. Like I'm always super nervous up front. I'm like, man, these guys are probably pretty good. Like when you're in the staging area, you're putting on the protection gear, you're putting on the helmet.
Yeah.
But dude, something inside of me when I strap in that helmet and I sit down and I fucking grab the steering wheel, dude, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm locked in. Like
Dude.
I'm envisioning the turns. I'm thinking about it. Like, okay, where is this? Like, what's this person's tendencies? Do they slow down a lot before they hit the turn because they're scared? It's like, okay, gotta avoid them. Like, I'm just
Mhm.
replaying everything through my head and how it's gonna play out. I love stuff like that, and I think I
Yeah.
need to do more of it because it just something in me. I'm just like, let's go. You know?
Dude, I know. I think every man dreams of just competition or combat. Like
Mm-hmm.
you, dude, I just something about it, dude. It's just it's invigorating.
It really is. And when it's nothing you have to like super prepare for,
Mhm.
like yeah, I got into jiu-jitsu for a little bit and there's like a steep learning curve. Like you feel like you
Mhm.
got it and then you're going to get smashed like shortly after that. And like cardio plays into it. So there's a lot of prep that goes into that. But like other things like dude, beer pong, like you're not beating me
Right.
at beer pong. I promise you that. Like I don't know why. Like little things like that, dude. I'm like, I'm all in. Like if we're playing horse, like good luck. You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
yeah.
behind the rim and try to figure out how I can shoot it in because I know you're not making that shot. You know, um,
Nice.
yeah. So,
Makes
dude, that's
sense,
so
dude.
cool.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Well, let's get on the racetrack one of these days. That could be
Dude,
fun.
I'm fucking in, dude. Every time, bro.
Yeah.
I'll school you.
Hey, that'll be the Palentines, dude. What if we did a
Dude, oh,
Palentines?
Palentine racetrack holiday. Race your bros. That's what I
That's
want.
it. I'm in.
All right, dude, let me hit you with one more thing that works.
Okay.
It's so boring. It's so boring, but the results not boring at all. In fact, the results are better than anything ever. This year, on this year I profited between both of my companies and all my shit. After everything was said and done, $380,000. That's profit. That's after like all expenses, leases for the gym, 30 grand leases, 40 grand salaries, the whole thing. 380 profit. Not bad. Satisfied
Not
with
bad.
it.
Yeah.
It certainly could be better. IRS charges me 35% tax on that 380. The state of Hawaii charges me 11% tax on that 380.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that adds up to be? That adds up to be 46%. Now, that's not my marginal tax, which means there's metrics, bars, doesn't matter. But more or less, 46% of 380 is about $175,000 of taxes I have to pay. Now, it's actually close to that because there's an extra tax in Hawaii, and then also I'll get some discounts and itemizations, doesn't matter. But $176,000 of taxes is a lot of fucking money. Like, that's
Yeah.
a fat stack, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a amazing incredible way to not have to pay that amount of taxes. It's called, 2 words, bro, cost segregations.
Ooh. Okay, let's
Yeah.
hear it.
Oh, sexy, dude, sexy.
That's super sexy.
So here's what you can do. If you own real estate, this is not tax advice. This is just what I'm doing. If I'm fucking up, just laugh at me. If it helps, talk to your accountant. What you can do is the IRS says, hey, if you own real estate rental properties, the value of your buildings, not the land, but the value of the buildings, the woods and the cement and the pipes, every year that goes down, that diminishes, that depreciates in value. So if you own a property, let's say you own $1 million worth of real estate, for easy numbers, $1 million. And let's say that half of it is the value of the land, and the other half is the value of the house or the buildings, the windows, the lots, the parking lot, the whole thing. And so that means you have $500,000 of what's called improvement value. Now you are allowed, because those windows, they get worse every year, dude. My windows do not get shinier, they get foggier. That $500,000 of your value depreciates. And so if it's residential property, you are allowed to depreciate that over a period of 27.5 years, which means $500,000 of value divided by 27.5, which means every year you can depreciate $18,000. So if I made $380,000, now there's a lot of rules that go with this, so you kind of got to like look it up, passive, non-passive income, things like that. So normally, if I own $500,000 of improvement value of real estate, I can write off about 18 grand. So I went from $380,000 of income down to, what's that? $362,000 of income.
Right.
That'll save me a little bit of cash. On paper, right, I went down bad. At least. Yeah. But you can do a cost segregation, which will take that $500,000 and more or less, it will front load it. So in a single year, you can depreciate between $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 of income. So now, let's say that you front load that son of a gun, and instead of writing off $18,000 year one, you write off $300,000 of a depreciation. Now you lose some benefits 15 years from now, just so you're aware, but money now is better than money tomorrow. We like today cash. And so if you write off $300,000, my income of $380 now went down to 80 grand. And my taxes on 80 grand are going to be about $30,000. So more or less, this is what I'm doing for 2 properties of mine that I purchased in 2023, that I rented out in 2023, and I'm depreciating. So that means my adjusted gross income, my income on paper, went from $380,000 to $80,000. My taxes went from $180 to $30,000. I am going to save $150,000 of taxes. There's a whole lot of like other stuff that goes into it, because Hawaii also doesn't recognize this the same way other states do, like Kansas, Missouri does. So it's not perfect, and I'm still going to spend some money on taxes. Yeah. But dude, it's legal. It's real. Like, it encourages people to buy real estate. When people talk about loopholes, like, they say that like they don't have access to the same loopholes. Everybody has to follow the same IRS tax code. I spent all last year, I read 4 different books on this, started learning a lot about articles and just reading online. And I hired an accountant, and I just started asking him questions on how to do this. And last year I was preparing for my tax season this year because of this. And because of all that work and time and energy I spent, I'm going to keep 150 grand in my pocket, and I'm still going to pay taxes, but like way less. And as long as I keep buying real estate, which I plan to, this will apply.
I mean, that's a hack, dude. Like,
dude, it's a hack.
It's a super hack, and it's just taking that extra time just to like think about what you're about to spend all of your money on. And a lot of people think it's like, oh, I need to cut costs. I need to not eat out as much. I need to do, whatever. You start thinking like personal, like how can I cut back or in your business? But you don't realize that taxes are your biggest expense.
Dude,
You got to
they
figure
are.
out how to offset that.
Dude, well said. Well said. Everybody's like, hey, I want to get a 5% pay raise, or I want to make a 5-10% more money on my investments. Bro, spend a little bit of time learning about this, and you could save a third of your expenses just like that, potentially.
I mean, a good rule of thumb, if you're spending money and you own a business, it's like, how do you justify a purchase? Right. And it's like the first thing you should ask is like, do you absolutely need it to run your business? Okay. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a yes, then for sure. The second one is, can you write it off? Like that should be
Mm-hmm.
on your decision tree. I don't absolutely need it, but I could write it off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this would be kind of in that category of like one or two. And so I like the plan would be to buy a new property every year so you can just keep executing on the strategy, front load that depreciation.
Exactly.
And then so each year, I mean, dude, you're playing Monopoly at that point.
Dude, you
You know?
are. And those properties are making you money. That's the thing. You rent it out and they're still cash flowing. And like, you said something really important too. What'd you just say actually? Before depreciation, front load.
Oh, so yeah, you could front load it. Here, I'll just finish my thought on this too, and maybe it'll come back to you. So in business, I like to make decisions where it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I say win-win, Devin, you probably think it's like where I win and you win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how I like to roll. I like
Okay.
in business, I want to win twice.
That's fantastic. That
How do I?
did you come up with that? That's amazing.
Oh, dude, that's like the basis of everything I make decisions on. It's like,
Wow.
how can I do more with what I'm already doing? And
Yeah.
so in this, it's like not only do you save a boatload of cash by buying this property, right? So that's going to be a win right there. But you're going to get paid monthly from the cash flow it produces, and you can even win a third time when you sell that thing,
Yeah.
right? And so cashing in on the equity of that. So there's multiple ways to win, and so that's how I like to evaluate different decisions. Is how do I win twice? What's a win-win for me? And so that's where I like to look at that from, and that checks that box for sure.
Dude, I love that. It's a win-win, which means I win twice.
I win twice,
Which means Daddy wins twice. That's nice. I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, if I'm winning and I'm being successful in my business decisions, I'm going to help a lot of people along the way, right? So everybody's winning,
Everybody's winning. Everybody's winning.
Everybody's winning.
To your point about the write-off, what's even better about this compared to a write-off is write-offs are 1-to-1. If you spend $5,000 in your business, that's just $5,000 you're not taxed on, essentially. But you still spent it. You don't have that money anymore. Whereas with this, you buy a piece of property, you only have to put in 20% of the value, which means 80% of the value that you're writing off, you got that money from the bank. You're not even paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's not a 1-to-1. It's like a 5-to-1 for you. Every dollar you put in, you're getting 5 times value. It's like, oh my God, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah, exactly. Stack them up, baby. No, dude, I mean, you're buying back your time essentially with that. Like, so, because in the early years, I mean, I would be doing like spending 80 hours a week just trying to earn 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now in our phase of business, you can essentially keep 6 figures by buying real estate and using the tax code to your advantage. And that's just like, how many days does it take you to like create that event? It's finding the property, locking it down, filling it with a tenant. Okay, maybe that's like a 60-day cycle. And then now spending the time to prep your taxes, make sure you're doing it correctly. Let's give that 2 weeks, right? So now you're at 2.5 months, under 90 days. You just essentially saved yourself 6 figures plus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so just think about how you're multiplying your value for yourself, and that's just going to accelerate your growth long term.
Yeah. That's a good point too.
I love that. Yeah, dude, that's the real deal. So, like, if somebody wants to learn more about this, like, do you have any books that stand out to you, or is there anything like you could
Bro, I'm
point
glad
people, or
you
just
asked.
find an
I'm glad you
accountant and pick
asked.
their brain?
Uh, well, that is a good idea. Let me find the books that I can find. Let me look it up real quick.
Maybe you
There's
can share
one
some of them
book.
in the notes or something.
Yeah, there's one book. I think it's literally called The Loopholes of Real Estate,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not by Robert Kiyosaki. I think it's by a guy named maybe it's Mark Wheeler.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll put it in the notes for the video. But I read 4 books all the way through. I'll put them all below, and then I had a couple different websites that referenced it. There's a lot to learn. That's why I really preempted it. If you're gonna do this, you got to do it right, because you really can mess it up. If you
Mm-hmm.
buy a piece of property that all the value is in the land and there's no value in the structure, you don't get any of these benefits. So
Yeah.
you gotta spend some time on it.
Yeah. No, that's sick. Well, there's some savings there. Dude, that's awesome. Well, congrats on your successful year, and I'm glad you're saving that dough, bro.
Thanks, bro. Saving the dough.
We'll need it. We'll need it for our not Galentines, our Palentines egg
Palentine's
trips.
need a little dough. Is that what you're saying? We'll need a little
Yeah,
dough.
exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, dude. Was that the pod?
Yeah, bro, that's the pod.
Dude, that was fantastic. That was good.
Love it.